morning. You're welcome and watching ABC News GH live on ABC News GH. This is ABC in the morning. I am Abna Mante. We are glad to come your way this very fine Friday morning, the 22nd day of November in the year of our Lord 2024, gradually inching to the end of this month, the 11th month, and then it's left with 1 month and the year 2024 ends. Also, we just have about 14 days to the elections, the general elections that all of us are looking forward to, who leads the nation. Today we'll bring you front story, sports, tech trick, Ghana Speaks, where you will have your say. We'll bring you business fix and our main discussion, which we know you love. We'll also bring you politics today, some very comprehensive analysis of the constituency. Stay tuned for that. Happy hour and our executive interview. We are streaming live on our YouTube. The channel is ABC News GH, the channel ABC News GH, and our socials that we hope you interact with us there at ABC News GH _ and our website is www.abcnewsgh.com. Let's take a short break. When we are back, Front Story is up next. Story today, we tackle a pressing issue that has been making headlines and raising concerns across the nation: the proliferation of and smuggling of firearms into this country. Barely 2 weeks to the elections. Just 2 days ago, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority seized some 53 pistols and 65 pieces of live ammunition, some 75 magazines, and a PC holster at the Golden Jubilee Terminal of the Tema Port. This raised eyeballs and has since been a major issue of concern ahead of the elections. With over 1 million unregistered firearms in the country per the Small Arms Commission and persistent smuggling of firearms into the country, security experts have expressed deep concern over the proliferation of arms ahead of the elections. This incident of smuggling is not just an isolation. Smuggling of firearms has been on the radar of the Customs Division of the Immigration Service. Over the years, they have had to deepen intelligence gatherings to avert the smuggling of firearms. However, there still remains a large deal of firearms in circulation. The recent resurgence of the Boko conflict, where we saw the adverse use of firearms, the Mamobi clash a few weeks ago, and the Adabraka robbery incident, coupled with the recent seizure of over 50 pistols and other firearms, have left many wondering if safety can be guaranteed, especially with the elections just around the corner. The latest shocking incident is what happened at Adabraka, where armed robbers stormed a business in broad daylight and sent shockwaves through the community by firing several gunshots. This incident is just one of the many reported cases of robbery, burglary, and assault in recent weeks. How do these weapons end up in the hands of criminals? Should Ghanaians be concerned about their safety? To shed light on this critical issue, we will be engaging someone with an understanding of small arms in the country. The Small Arms Commission of Ghana has been working tirelessly to address the issue of illicit firearms. In 2016, they destroyed over 1,300 seized illicit arms to prevent them from falling into unauthorized hands. But despite these efforts, the problem persists. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the handling of firearms in this country, Ghana. Firearms handling in Ghana, and this survey is from 2018. An estimate of firearms in civilian possession are 2,280,000, and an estimate of civilian firearms per 100 persons is 7.96. Registered firearms in the country as of 2018, 1,236,128, and unregistered firearms in the country 1,043,872. Law enforcement firearms as at 2018 stood at 28,000, and the total military firearms at 2018 amounted to 18,600. These are the firearms that were in the country as at 2018, a survey by the Small Arms Commission. And these are what we see about small arms in the country. We delve into the root cause of the surge in crime, proliferation, and we'll also discuss practical solutions to curb this menace. We'll also examine the measures taken to ensure public safety, particularly with the elections looming. We have just 14 days to the elections. Our guest this morning is John Asante Twum. He is an expert on small arms and light weapons. Good morning, John. We are grateful for your time.
Asante Twum.
Johnson Asante Twum. Pardon me, Johnson. Thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
The issue of firearms ending up in the hands of many in the country. I dare to say that we are not a country that is pro-guns or pro-weaponry. So how come at this time we see that gradually arms are ending up in the hands of people who it should not be in the hands of?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning to your viewers. This is a very interesting conversation, and as far as I'm concerned, a number of factors account for these incidents that we are witnessing. First of all, our economy is growing, and we are getting an expanded middle class or growing middle class who, after having met a number of their needs, now feel that security is paramount to them, and by so doing, they ignorantly feel that if they own the weapon or the firearm all by themselves, it will be enough for them to protect themselves. So that is one of the factors. So you have a growing middle class who are now also thinking that, when we get weapons all by ourselves, we will be able to protect ourselves. And by so doing, they are not going through the right processes in acquiring the weapons as a result of their lack of understanding or knowledge of the regulations governing small arms, firearms, and weapon possession in the country. So that is one factor. Okay. The second one is also criminality generally, which is that, as I mentioned, as the middle class is growing, crime is also growing, and people, criminals begin to be sophisticated. Many years ago, when I was with the Small Arms Commission, one of the incidents or one of the things that we witnessed from the police in terms of records was that all weapons used in committing crimes, or retrieved from crime scene in the country over the past 10 years used to be 85% of those weapons were locally manufactured weapons. But today the dynamics have changed, and the reverse is the case, that if you ask the police today, most of the weapons they are finding are now, foreign-made imported weapons. So the question now is, who is bringing the weapons into the country? Like the customs intercepted, you will see that our compatriots, living in Europe and America, are part of the problem of gun proliferation, who begin to illegally import these weapons, especially those in the U.S. when they witness the kind of gun culture in the United States, feel that, then we can bring the weapons in because, it's sold, on the streets and in the shops. And sometimes they don't do a lot of background check when they are selling those weapons to you. So people can buy them and they bring them in. The question of how they get in is something we'll address later, but I'm just addressing your question of, why the weapons are getting in here. Then you have the third factor being the issues of conflict around us, around our country, within the sub-region, where Ghana is surrounded by a lot of countries that have gone through conflict, whose armories have been broken into, weapons have proliferated, and now those countries are becoming peaceful, some of them, and the weapons are there and people don't know what to do with them. They are looking for markets for those weapons. And our place now become a market source because demand is growing here, and then people are bringing them into these countries. So these are some of the factors that I can say are driving the demand. Then you also have the issues of chieftaincy disputes, land disputes, and all that, in addition to the criminalities that are driving weapons. Then the very weird one, is when people who are using it for celebration, the one we call celebrity gunfires. Instead of those days using the musket, the one that uses gunpowder and co, people are now using sophisticated weapons for celebration, festivals and funerals. You go to funerals, even naming ceremonies, people are firing weapons, which are foreign made and imported into the country. So these are some of the factors that are contributing to the demand and proliferation of weapons. The final one, which is also not the usual one now, is elections and politics, which is also driving it because you are getting into election and people think that, hey, I need a weapon to protect myself because anything can happen. But that really shouldn't be the case because we have been tried and tested in terms of our election and how peaceful we've gone about it. But, you still have people panicking when elections are coming. I don't understand why that should be so.
Johnson, you mentioned that in recent years you realized that the criminals who use guns for their criminal activities are relying more on these imported guns. Does it mean that the local production of guns has reduced?
I do not have concrete statistics to speak to, but I can tell you from observation that it has. In terms of, the numbers, people don't really appreciate them anymore in terms of functionality. They are not, as sophisticated as the foreign-made ones. And as I said, people can now afford. It used to be the question of affordability and accessibility. But now, for the factors I have mentioned, the weapons have become accessible, and people also now can afford, because I've mentioned to you that the economy is growing and is growing, and we have an expanded and a growing middle class who can now have access to it, which also means that your average criminal now, because it is available and is accessible, they can now have it, albeit through the illegal means.
With these smugglings and proliferation that we are seeing in our system at the moment, how worried should we be entering into the elections?
We should be worried, but we shouldn't be too much worried. If anything, if there is any form of assurance or hope, the Custom Division of GRA has given us that assurance and hope that when these weapons come in, we'll intercept them. However, I think that customs need to be doing more. They need to be collaborating more with the Small Arms Commission, because the commission now has acquired scanners that can that is purposely made for detecting weapons. The scanners at the various ports are not built for that, but if they allow the commission to play that role as an additional layer of security and of checks of people who come in, then we'll be uncovering more, because from what we have seen now and what we've seen in the past goes to confirm that our ports are still being used, as an entry point of these smuggled weapons. One would have thought that the ports are more secured because of, all the security, the scanners and all that, and people will not be using that and be using the illegal route and using the unapproved routes, But you can see that people are still daring to use the port because they found a loophole and they are doing it. For all you know, this is not the first time. He may have brought in these weapons. And so customs need to be doing more. Yes, we appreciate what they are doing now, but they need to collaborate with the commission to do more in terms of scanning, some of the goods and items that come in. My understanding is that this particular importer has other goods, other items or vehicles that are at the port, and the customs need to go into it with a commission scanner and scan those vehicles well, do a detailed and a thorough search of those vehicles that the same person has brought in, because these weapons were retrieved from only a part of his or her goods. So the other aspects, which are the vehicles that he has brought in, two of them, my understanding is that he has two more vehicles at the port he's yet to clear. We are urging customs and the security agencies to collaborate and be thorough and detailed about the goods that this particular person has brought in. And if anything at all, they need to, temporarily impound those vehicles and make sure that they have thoroughly searched them before, anything is released to him or her. But as I said, in terms of being worried, I don't think we should be too much worried. The security is on the ground, the police are working, and the National Election Security Task Force, which has also been activated, is actively, working on the ground. So, we shouldn't be worried about these things.
Beyond the Small Arms Commission having sophisticated scanners, how much are they equipped to handle the issues of the small arms getting into the country, so that when Ghanaians rest, they know that they have nothing to fear?
These scanners are limited. The ones they don't have enough across the country, so they need more of that. They have personnel across the country's borders, not all of them. Selected ones, they have personnel across, and so they need more of those scanners to be able to assist the border control agencies to be able to rescue this country from, armed proliferation. Beyond that, the Commission's mandates and the laws that they are using to fight these proliferation are very limiting, very old and archaic 1962, 1972 laws, and the laws need to be reformed immediately, and government need to set up to do that, because if that is not done, the Commission will always be at the beck and call of other security agencies, and they will be treating them, as strangers, even at the port, if the law does not give them that kind of authority. So if the custom officer there doesn't like the officer from the Commission knows, he can tell him that write a letter to my headquarters, because I don't know you, for them to give you approval before you can come and scan these vehicles. And so I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm saying that if you have, someone who, doesn't have his head properly screwed on his neck when these things are going, and we know stories that have gone on between some security agencies at the port and some connivance and all that. I'm not saying that is the case now, but I'm saying that if that agency is not properly empowered to do so, then they will always have to go begging to do their work. But that shouldn't be the case, because if a state has set up an agency, you need to empower the agency to work. And if you decide to put them at the port, you don't put them there bare hands. You need to strengthen, the commission's agencies to be able to do the work. And if they are doing so, they'll be able to assist the other agencies to make this country safe.
Just before we let you go, we've seen that people brandish guns in broad daylight without fear. Are we gradually getting to that point where the fear we used to attach to the use of guns, even to seeing them on a regular, is gradually waning?
I've spoken about the laws being reformed, but it is not enough to also reform the law. What we have in this country lacking is the issue of enforcement. Even the current laws, would not allow you, an individual, to openly display your weapon. The law says that even before you can display that weapon, you need a permission from the IGP to openly display. So, under no circumstance, even when the weapon is registered, to openly display it, you need another permission from the IGP to be able to display that weapon. So the fact that you even have a registered weapon, you are not authorized or permitted by law to openly display that weapon. But people are ignorant of the law, and they think that once I've registered the weapon, I'm at liberty to brandish it at any time, and they go about telling you, I've registered the weapon. The fact that you registered the weapon does not mean that you have a license to commit crime with it. And when you do that, the law will take its course. The person will be arrested. The only thing you will be exempted from is the fact that the weapon is registered. But the crime you use the weapon to commit, you have not been licensed to commit crime with it, and the law will deal with it.
There's still a lot of unregistered arms in the system, and it's at least over 1 million. What can we do to rid our system of these? Or even if we are unable to rid it in the short term, what can we do to reduce the incidence of proliferation of arms in our system?
First of all, we need to be talking about how can we prevent more from coming in, so that we can deal with the ones that are in. If we don't deal with the access, the routes, and the supply and demand factors, and we treat the ones that are in, it will be like treating a stomach ache with a plaster or with a bandage on it. We have to deal with the issue of the borders. We have to deal with the issue of illegal weapons smuggling and entering into the country first, and then but of course the two are not mutually exclusive. We can be doing them at the same time, but we need to focus on preventing more weapons from coming in. In terms of dealing with the ones that are illegally in people's hands, there are programs and processes that need to be put in place, but that also means that government needs to be committed. Not just be committed, but commit resources to work with civil society partners, to work alongside also with international donor agencies to deal with it. We can institute community violence reduction programs and measures which can help us retrieve some of the weapons. There are issues of arms for development that you can do, which are all part of the programs, but it will require long-term painful investment in studying the patterns, where the weapons are, who possess them, and then what measures and programs need to be instituted to retrieve those weapons, including amnesties, among others. So a lot needs to be done to reduce the weapons in the people's hands. But whilst we are doing that, we need to be securing the entry point and deal with the issues of demand and supply factors.
Can we draw any political links with these smuggling and the weapons we are seeing in our system? Can we draw any political links with them?
Well, in my earlier intervention, I told you that elections are also part of the drivers of illegal weapons. And so elections are part of it. And we know that conflict in Africa generally has also been exacerbated by elections. So we cannot say that elections are not part of it. Of course, if you say politics are not part of it, if you talk about politics, I hope you are not talking about partisan politics, but whether it is partisan politics or politics generally, yes, because they all go down to the issue of elections and selecting who become, the controller of our resources and the entire country. Stakes are high, and people might, be having other thoughts other than what we all expect them to. So, yes, elections and politics also drive these things, but yes, the security agencies know better.
The security agencies know better. So we won't be conjecturing if we ask if politicians are involved in this.
Oh no, we can't rule them out. I mean, we've seen examples. We've seen politicians brandishing weapons and displaying weapons. We've seen some in other places. There are examples. I don't need to mention them, but of course, in the recent one, we saw the Kaswa incident. There are issues where one MP was picked up with weapons in his car. So yes, politicians are part of it. Sometimes when you see the guys who possess these weapons and you find out their background, the guy may be unemployed, but he has the weapon. You ask yourself, where did he get the weapon? You get it. The issue of land guardism is being driven by other people. The land guards themselves don't have what it takes. People supply them. When it comes to election and election-related violence, people hire those guys to protect them and to do all manner of things for them. And so it's time to reason that if they are hiring them, they may be the ones behind securing and procuring those weapons for them. So you can't rule that out.
Okay. We're grateful for your time this morning, Johnson.
My pleasure.
Johnson Asante Twum is an expert on small arms and light weapons. We've been having the conversation on the proliferation of firearms ahead of the elections. Recently, just a few days ago, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority seized some firearms that had made their way into the country. And recent incidents also go to show that firearms have found their way into the hands of many people. Firearms shouldn't be whose hands firearms shouldn't be in. And in our conversation with Johnson, one thing that stood out for me is that the criminals, if he says that if you juxtapose to some time ago, criminals are no more using locally manufactured guns anymore for their criminal activities. It is showing that most of them are using sophisticated guns which find their way into the country through our entry points. It's for this reason that he says that we should pay particular attention to our entry points so that we can rid the country of these firearms that are gradually becoming a norm for us here in the country. And broad daylight, and people are brandishing guns without fear. They're just so comfortable brandishing guns. People are buying guns. Johnson mentioned that with the increase in our middle class, they feel that they need to protect themselves, and what's better way to protect themselves but to get some firearms for themselves. And this is also causing the increase that we are seeing in the country. He's mentioned so many things that ought to be looked at and looked at carefully, and we are hoping that the authorities take advantage of these things and take some decisive measures on these firearms that are becoming one too many in the country. The statistics we showed you earlier from the 2018 survey showed you the number of unregistered firearms in the country, and that's just 2018. We are now in 2024. How much has it grown, and how many firearms are in the country at the moment? This needs decisions that are firm, decisions that do not look to anybody, decisions that do not entertain any fear or favor, so that we can have a very peaceful country, so that we do not begin to grow a culture of guns and gun violence like we're seeing in other countries. We know how very devastating guns can be when they are used indiscriminately. So we must take a look at this, and our authorities must stamp the authority on this issue. That's all for Front Story this morning on ABC in the morning. Let's take a break. When we are back, Derek Kumiki-Siedu will bring us the latest in sports, and Eric Melo-Trenewa will also bring us some tech tricks. Stay with us.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Tanishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
221.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
This is where the headlines are probed, policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed?
I haven't. What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it's a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now.
Go on.
Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to resolve? Have you thought about managing that head-on?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
On Focus on ABC, we focus on the matter, the personality, and the answer beyond the rhetoric. Focus on ABC shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on ABC News Ghana television.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot.
You can advertise your brand or business on ABC News GH Television. Call us on 030-278-8645 or 050-993-0360 to secure your slot.
I am Derek Kumiki Siedu here at ABC News Ghana. We are your election center. election guide. Hashtag vote not violence. Now let's dive into the world of sports. As the Ghana Football Association has dissolved the management committee of the senior national team, the Black Stars, following their failure to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. The Black Stars' commitment Stars finishing last in group in a press release issued on Thursday, November 21, 2024. The GFA expressed regret over the team's failure to qualify for the continental tournament for the first time in 21 years. Now, the Ghana Football Association, GFA, has confirmed they will hold a retreat on November 28 at the Ghana Men's Soccer of Excellence at Pampam. This comes following a meeting by the Executive Council on Wednesday, November 21, following Black Stars' failure to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON tournament. In response to widespread calls for reforms, the GFA announced plans to organize a retreat to gather ideas on improving the performance of the Black Stars and Ghanaian football as a whole. Stakeholders such as SWAG, the media, the National Sports Authority, PFAG, former captains and players, coaches, supporters, football enthusiasts, and sports-related professionals like the medics, economics, marketers, as well as opinion leaders, including traditional leaders, will be invited. The retreat primarily purpose will be to solicit input from stakeholders to develop a roadmap for enhancing the performance of the Black Stars and other national teams. The President, Kurt Edwin Okweku, arrived in Niger yesterday, November 21, 2024, to participate in the 17th General Assembly of the Sub-Regional Body. The President was met on arrival at the Diori Hamini International Airport by the Nigerian Football Federation President, Colonel Major Jibrila Heima Hamidu, and WAFB Executive Director Philippe. President Simeon Okweku, who doubles as the Ghana Football Association President, will deliver the opening address at the WAFB General Assembly, scheduled to take place at the Radisson Blue Hotel in Niger today, November 22, 2024. He will be joined by the leadership of the Federation of African Football, CAF. He has attended the WAFB General Assembly in the company of the Ghana Football Association General Secretary Prosper Harrison Addo, Ghana legend and 1978 African Footballer of the Year, Golden Boy Abdul Razak. The General Assembly is being attended by top African football officials, including Cameroonian Football Federation President Samuel Eto'o, as well as President and General Secretaries of WAFB Member Association. The 17th WAFB General Assembly is being hosted by Niger, marking a notable occasion in the country's football history. The arrival of these officials highlights the importance of this assembly for zonal football, as it serves as a platform for discussing key decisions and policies that will shape the future of the football in sub-regions. And now, Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey has announced the launch of the inaugural Thomas Partey tournament, a youth football competition designed to identify Ghana's next generation of football stars. The tournament, set to take place from November 2nd to 5th at the Tuba AstroTurf in Accra, is organized in collaboration with JJ Sports. Partey shared his vision for the event, stressing the importance of providing young players with a platform to showcase their skills. Now let's take a listen to Thomas Partey.
It's that time of the year where young Ghanaian players need a platform to showcase their talent. I'm Thomas Partey, and this is Thomas Partey's tournament. From the 2nd to the 5th of December, my agent and top scouts from 8 European teams will be in Ghana to scout the best talents. This is for the motherland. Let's discover and celebrate our future stars.
Well, that's how we wrap up for the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. For more sports updates, please follow our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Derek Kumi Kisiedu.
God, it's Friday. Yes, the weekend is here. Welcome to the Tech Trade segment on ABC in the morning. I am Eric Chinibuamelo, and it's time to talk about some tech news, okay? So our focus today would be on how to install a hidden camera. Now, not in a negative way, but in a way that could secure your safety. Now, these are the guidelines to follow, okay? So step by step, you follow with me and you're good to go. So let's begin with the first step. So you have to place the camera so that it has a direct line of sight to whatever it's monitoring, okay? So most important part of installing any hidden camera is finding the right place to put it. Now, the first thing you should do is to think about where the person or the behavior you're monitoring is likely to occur. Now, make sure that your camera is in a place where it can also point directly to these areas with no visual obstructions present. For example, if you were worried about someone breaking into your home while you were away, you could always place a camera near your door and window. Also, if you also suspected a partner, well, cheating on you, you might also want to place a camera facing your bed or pointing towards the passenger seat of your partner vehicle. Also, if you were worried about how your nanny was treating your baby, you would also want to point the camera facing your child's crib. Again, another example, if you want to feed the neighborhood cats, which might not want to check to see if other animals would be rather not feed on frequenting the food bowl, you also would have to position the camera at where it will serve you right. If you live in an area where passerbys may see your camera, you may want to keep it in a disguise to prevent thefts. It means that in this case, you would have to keep your camera hidden and pointed at the food. So that's the first step. Now let's move on to the second one. You also have to consider the sound quality. It's not just about the visuals only. Sometimes recording also can capture sound as well. So if you're also trying to record crisp, clear sound, you would also need to position the camera in a place that is very conducive to audio recording. It means that you have to make sure it's as close as possible to where you think the speaker would be. Now the camera should not be near anything noisy such as a television or a radio, which may drown out the speaker's voice or make it difficult to understand. So for example, if you're installing a camera in a room where the television plays, it's on a position or it's an opposite side of the room. It means that you have to place the camera near a couch or a chair near your seat to target the sound, and which is likely to have on your seat. In installing your camera in a car, you also have to place away the car's speakers. Means that you have to turn off the speakers so it can also capture the sound. Now, these are basic tips you need to know if you want to really secure your safety if you really are using a camera. Now, the third one is to put the camera near its external power supply if necessary. Now, while many modern hidden cameras are battery operated, some rely on external power sources and may need to plug into an available wall socket. It means that if your camera draws power into this way, you have to put it in place close to an electric socket. Now, the plug and wires will need to be either hidden in a disguised way or as a man-made household appliance. It's very much important to pay attention to this particular trick. Just as you see the display on your screen, it's easy, very, very much easy. These days, that a lot of people are so paranoid about their security, and anything is just happening. We gear into the festive season. We're going to have theft issues here and there, recording of robbery and burglaries here and there. But if you really want to pay attention to your security, then I'm sure I'm speaking to you. Now, let's move on to the fourth point. You have to connect your camera to a network if applicable. Now, some hidden cameras have internal storage. It means that while others broadcast videos through some type of network connections and still other features both on option. It means that if your camera connects is a network through an external or internet which uses the USB cable, it must be well disguised and in an inconspicuous place. It means that you also have to keep such a camera close to the computer or router it connects to. Now, most common commercial nanny cam models connect wireless. If you purchase this type of camera, make sure it's within the range of a secure wireless network, and that's how secure you would be, just as you see on the screens. Well, not to use in the bad way, I mean, once again. And to the final point, you have to check to see if the eye is naturally drawn to the spot. Now, certain layouts will attract attention more than others. You can avoid any spot where your target is likely to look directly at often. It means that you have to keep your camera either significantly above or below average eye level so that nobody can see that there's a hidden camera. That's why it's a hidden camera. It's not supposed to be seen by people. I know there are types of cameras. There are ones that you see and you know that there's a camera, but I'm talking about hidden cameras. Cameras that you position that nobody even recognizes that they're cameras, but you are the only person that knows that you have hidden a camera at a point. So you can ask someone to look for a camera you've installed in a particular room. If he or she is unable to find it with the knowledge that it's there, it means that an unsuspecting individual is even less likely to spot it. Okay, so if he or she quickly finds the camera, choose a different spot and try again. Okay, well, I said the last point, but let me just wrap up with this final one. So just as you see the doorbell there, what the person is pointing to is a secret hidden camera that you would not even think that it is a camera, but it is a camera. It's capturing you. So if you're thinking of going to barge into their house and steal, before you even try to hold the door handle, it's already picked your physical appearance. It has picked your identity already, so it's easily to identify you if you are about to steal or just burglarize the person's house. Okay, so that is the factor of a hidden camera. Now, the sixth point is you have to shield your camera from the elements. Now, make sure that any outdoor security cameras are both weather resistant and placed in a way that makes such damage unlikely to occur in the first place. It means that ideally you should buy a camera specifically designed for outdoor use. If you don't keep this camera sheltered within a sunroom or screen, it will maybe be experiencing some difficulty in capturing all of these that you want to acquire or achieve. So in conclusion, what I want to say is securing your safety is very key, and of course the spy cameras are effective tools for maintaining security and surveillance at home. Whether it's monitoring household employees, taking care of your children, or making sure that your home is protected in your absence, a spy camera can offer peace of mind and visual evidence. Now, in the event of an accident or incident, you'll be secure that this hidden camera will make the magic. Okay, well, that's all for today. Catch you next time for another tech news. I'm Eric Mello. Enjoy the weekend. The show continues after this.
We are currently here at Tanishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
2 to 1.
You're watching ABC.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia #1 on the ballot.
ABCN The Morning Live here on ABC News GH. Eric Mello Chenebois and Derek Kumiki said brought you that from sports and also Tech Trick. For those of you who need some cameras in your homes so that you can detect some activities happening, Mello has shown us how we should go about it and what we should do. Let's take some news on the various news portals. On ABC News GH, Senco calls for investigation into election rigging accusations by NPP and NDC. 50 facility managers recruited to maintain new educational projects, and Edichum declares Nana Addo as education president because the government has commissioned over 80 educational projects, which they did yesterday. And GFA presents buses to top 3 clubs in Zone 1, 2 and 3 of Access Bank Division 1 League. That's what is on ABC News GH. Let's take a look at what is also on myjoyonline.com. What's on myjoyonline.com? MyJoy reports that project commissioning not a ploy to attract votes, and Opon Kroma says so. He says so. And the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says restoring forest or ravaging Ghana's green heritage. The coalition questions Nana Akufo-Addo's COP29 claims. That is also on myjoyonline.com. myjoyonline.com. We'll read more from myjoyonline.com, what is trending on the website. In Mahama's era, students lacked chalk but are now receiving tablets. Bawumia says so. Remember, we have just a few days to the elections, and FD explains extension of best before date for expired. Right, let's see what's also on City Newsroom. What is reported on City Newsroom? City reports that NDC backs IGP's no guns at polling station directive, and cement prices still rising despite new LI. Grida says so. Police officer interdicted over viral assault video, and EC destroys defective ballot papers for Ahafo and Volta regions. We brought you a conversation on this recently. So these are some of the news trending on the various news portals. For more news, you should visit our website www.abcnewsgh.com for all of your credible news. Here on ABC News, we also tell you that we are the Poll Center. This is your go-to guide, your guide for everything about the elections. As we enter into the elections, all we keep telling you is that pay attention to your votes and none other. So we are advocating for votes, not violence. Votes, not violence. Please don't be used as any tool for violence. Don't be used for violence. Up next is Ghana Speaks, where we want to hear your voice. We'll give you the phone line shortly and you can call us. Stay tuned.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
Matters, and it is your voice alone we want to hear. That's why we bring you Ghana Speaks. You can call us on 053-9101-610. You can call us, or the numbers on your screen. We'll be putting the number on your screen so that you can also call us and have your say. But today on Ghana Speaks, the question we are asking is that, where is your love for the national team? Bringing back the love for the Black Stars. So far, with everything that has been happening with our senior national team, where is your love for the national team? We want to hear from you on Ghana Speaks this morning, so you can call us on the numbers on your screen so that we speak with you. Call us on the numbers on your screen and tell us where your love for the national team is at the moment. So many things have happened in a while. Let us know if you still have any love for the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana. Bringing back the love for Black Stars. Where is your love for the team? Where is your love? Do you even have any love left for us, our national team? When we are playing any match, do you go there to watch? You can call us 053-916-1609. 916-1609, and you tell us if you have any love left for the national team. What do you need to see in the national team? So far, the management for the team has been dissolved? Is it enough that they have been dissolved? What more do you want to see happen to the Black Stars team, the GFA? What do you think can be done so that Ghanaians will love our Black Stars again? Now, when our Black Stars are playing matches, then we are the ones who are booing them. We are so unhappy with them that we are booing them. Is that fine? Ghanaians, is that okay that we boo our national team, our players who are sacrificing a lot for us? And our players, are they killing themselves for us? Or there's so many questions about our team, and so many people are hurt. Now, when Ghana Black Stars is playing a match, so many people don't want to go and watch like they would have gone to watch. For the first time in 20 years, we are not going for AFCON. Very sad incident. No AFCON for us. We will not be part of the AFCON 2025. And I know many of us are sad about that. But we still want the love for the Black Stars. We have only one Black Stars, and the Black Stars is all we have. We don't have any national team anywhere. So tell us how we can get the love back for this team. At the moment, where is your love for the Black Stars? Call us on 0539161609. And when you call us, please turn down the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Emmanuel, calling from Suhum, Amanasi.
Emmanuel, where is your love for the national team, the Black Stars?
I have for now love for the national team.
You don't have any love for the national team?
No love for the national team as it stands now.
Why?
Now the love is gone to Europe.
It's gone to Europe?
I started watching football by watching Heart of Oak and Asante Kotoko play. And by then, you can see this is not Black Star, just Hassan Kotoko, and it's all of I don't know. You can see this is Ghana, this is I don't know. This is our home soil. We are playing football here, and I don't know. The Ghana, the problem we have is as others are developing their football, ours are going down. I always think about this, and I don't understand. I don't know why. Because before the football was doing well. You can see House of Oak going to Africa, Kotoko going to Africa, Black Stars doing well. And South Banana stands. What others are performing, their pitches have been a whole lot of development, and I don't know. Just look at last time. We will have to go to Togo and go and beg them to play qualifiers on their pitch. How?
Okay.
After the Black Stars, there's no love anywhere for the team.
There's no love anymore. Okay.
There's no love. There's no love.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Oh, you're welcome.
Emmanuel says his love is now in Europe. There's no love for the Black Stars anymore. Is that same for you? You can call us and share your thoughts about our senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana. And at first, when Black Stars had a match, you'd see the enthusiasm with which all of us would want to watch the match. Students running from school. School will close early, actually, for students to run home to be able to make it for the match. Now Ghana has a match, and people don't even know Ghana has a match. You don't see cars branding with the Ghana flag and tooting their horns just to the excitement of the Black Stars. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Mkofovidia.
Your name is? Hello, sir.
Eric, my name is Eric. I'm calling from Koforidua.
Okay, Eric, please position yourself properly so we can hear you very well. There's some breakages in your line. But where is your love for the Black Stars? Okay. We've lost Eric. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Anthony. Hello?
Yes. Hello, Anthony.
Good morning. I'm calling from Takoradi, Shamak to be precise.
Okay. Anthony, where's your love for the Black Stars?
My love for the Black Stars is very thin. My love is not heavy. My love is so thin.
What can the Black Stars do to get the full love back?
But for Black Stars for now, for me to appreciate Black Star, the coach has to be start. You have to start the coach.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony from Shama, he says the coach must be sacked so that he can love the Black Stars again. You two, call us and let's hear from you. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Okay. Where's your love for the team?
Coach doesn't learn from his mistakes and he should go. If you check the former coaches, they have done something, even though they didn't go far. But this particular coach doesn't learn from his mistakes. So we don't have love for the Black Stars again.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. He says that the coach doesn't learn from his mistakes. No love for the Black Stars team again. What about you? Do you have any love for the Black Stars? Maybe you still love the Black Stars and you know that things will get better. For many, their love is hinged on how well the Black Stars do, and you can't blame them for that too. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello?
Hello, please turn down the volume of your TV so that you can hear us.
Okay.
Hello, please turn down the volume of your Well, where is your love for the Black Stars? Where's your love for the team? You let us know if you have any love left for the Black Stars. When you call us, anytime we open the phone lines and you call us, we'll be glad if you turned down the volume of your TV. When you do that, we can hear you and hear you well. But today on Ghana Speaks, we're asking you where your love for Black Stars is. In the first time in 20 years, Black Stars will not be represented. Ghana will not be represented at the AFCON. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Mona.
Okay. Mona, where's your love for the Black Stars?
Right now, me, I don't have any love with them.
Okay. Mona says he does not have any love for the Black Stars at the moment. Let's take some true calls and then we'll be done with Ghana Speaks. But the question is, where is your love for the Black Stars? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Your love for the Black Stars. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
When you call us, please turn down the volume of your TV so that the feedback does not interfere in our conversation. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, Emmanuel, I'm back again.
You are back again?
Yes, yes.
Emmanuel, what do you want to tell us again?
Yes, I heard someone talking about the coach. And that's very true. You see, coaches play football too. Coaches, they play football. Our coach is the poorest. That coach needs to resign. No one needs to sack him. He needs to resign for the team to have peace. But I don't know whether they'll get coach or someone else interim. Then we continue from there. Because you don't see any, I don't know. When they play, you don't see, I don't know, and you don't see any formation. They just, I don't know. You will not see Black Stars playing. Nothing like Black Stars are playing. Someone asked me, is he under 20 playing? That they said, under 20. Okay. That's Black Stars for you. So,
well, that's Emmanuel calling back again to have his say again. We see how much Black Stars means to you, means to all of us as a country. For most of us, I mean, that's the only senior national team we have. We pump a lot of money into this team to make the team work. However, in recent years, we haven't been able to reap any results from our team. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Osman from Izezi.
Osman, where is your love for the Black Stars?
Thank you very much. My love for Ghana Black Stars, though they are doing well, but you know, most of the players, they don't take it serious. That's why they are
spectators with no Ghanaian team to support. We don't have our national team to support in there, but we'll still enjoy it. We will enjoy it in hopes that our team will get better than it is. That's all for Ghana Speaks this morning. Let's take a short breather. We will be back.
currently here at Tanishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
221.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Media budget review.
This is where the headlines are probed, policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed?
I haven't. What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it's a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now.
Go on.
Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to? Have you thought about managing that header?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
In the morning. Up next is Business Fix. Business Fix today, we are looking at the signs of Black Friday sales. We are in November, 1 week more, and then November is ending. And we know what happens when November is ending. Black Friday. And who doesn't love sales? Everybody loves sales. Everybody wants to buy something when there is some discount. We want to understand the science behind Black Friday sales. Black Friday is known for big discounts, but there's a lot of psychology, marketing, consumer behavior, and economics at play when we speak about Black Friday. One key factor is the sense of urgency created by limited time offers and flash sales by these retailers. Consumers, you and I, fear that we will miss out, and it leads us to make quick decisions. This is based on aversion to loss, the idea that people fear loss or fear losing something more than gaining something pushes us to make certain decisions to buy something during some Black Friday sales. Retailers also use something which they call an anchoring effect by showing the original price next to the discounted price. So when you go to a shop and you see a discounted price and then you see an original price on the same product, you are quick to buy it. We want to understand this and to better give us some explanation and understanding on Black Friday sales. Let's speak with Professor Mahmood Abdullahi Mahmood. He is an associate of marketing at the Department of Marketing and Entrepreneurship at the University of Ghana Business School. Prof, we are grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Prof, everybody loves to buy something which has been reduced. Every single person. I don't know who doesn't like to buy something which has the price reduced. But let me ask first and foremost, how do retailers use psychology to make people buy impulsively during Black Friday?
Thank you very much once again, and good morning for having me. Well, psychology is important in marketing. Marketing is built on psychology. One of the pillars of marketing is from psychology. And consumers, as you rightly said, we are all price sensitive. When prices go down, consumers will normally even buy outside, beyond what they regularly been buying. They will want to buy more as a result of. So generally, psychology is so important. Understanding the consumer behavior, both the internal and external aspect of the consumer, is important for you to drive sales. So Black Friday is one of the short measures that the psychology aspect of it that retailers as well as firms generally will use to boost their sales.
Do you make any sales from Black Friday, Prof?
Pardon?
Do retailers make any sales? Do they actually make any sales from these Black Friday offers they give?
No, they do. They do. You realize that the concept is foreign to us. Yes. It started from US. But today, it's a global something. So whatever you are doing and you are succeeding, they actually make sales. Because of this, that's why globally everybody is now participating in Black Friday. It's now worldwide. It's celebrated worldwide every year. So they actually make sales. And as I said, these are short-term measures that firms will use to boost their sales. And it's a kind of sales promotion. And consumers are aware that even these are the period that new products are being introduced and product prices are reduced. So definitely they make a lot of sales. It really helps firms during this period to cash in. And you realize that it now, even though there's a specific date, like 29th of November, but it has already started. I mean, the conversation about Black Friday has already started. It tells you how it significantly matters to some firms when it comes to their sales.
Let's decide which products to offer as loss leaders during Black Friday. When retailers go into their books, they go into the bevy of things they have. How do they decide that these and these are the things that if I put on sale, I'm going to make good profit on?
Well, for retailers, they understand the product items, they understand the product lines, they understand the breadth of the products that they have. They know those that are really moving in terms of sales, and they know those that are lagging behind. And even sometimes how they put them on the shelf. Those that move usually take the front stage, and those that really lag behind sometimes will take the back shelf. So definitely they understand the items they have, and they know which items are trending, especially those that are trending. They will want to electronics and smartphones, smartwatches and other things. I mean, these are things that they will put forward during this period.
Prof, with the rise of online shopping, how are traditional retailers, like in our Ghanaian space, we have a lot of traditional retailers compared to online, but we also see that the online shopping is also rising and rising very quickly. How are traditional leaders, how will they position themselves or adapt their Black Friday strategies to compete with those in the e-commerce?
Yes, it's still important, even though we now have increasingly, as you rightly said, in this part of the world, firms are now going day in, day out online to do business, and the traditional retailers are also still there. So what I realize in this is that with time, if you are not careful and you don't adopt these technologies, you are going to be out of business. And I'll tell you that some of our traditional retailers are now also adopting online strategies. I mean, you take Wache joints, and now they use technology a lot to distribute that, you know. So it tells you, but then location is still key. I mean, answering your question specifically, location is still key, because one of the things that we talk about is physical evidence. Some consumers want to see the place, how decent the place is, how nice is the ambience before they consume. So I still think traditional retailers can also still cash in or capitalize on this Black Friday by ensuring that they use point of sales kind of I mean, if you beautify your location, try to signify, try to send messages across that, hey, there is Black Friday going on and there is some kind of promotions that you are doing. I say use your location, your physical evidence can really alert consumers that this is what is happening, and you can still cash on. So whether you are online or offline, I think you can still take advantage of this.
With our increasing changing economic landscape in Ghana here, we know that consumers, although we have consumers that are very loyal to certain products, we also realize that our taste shifts day in and day out. The newest thing on the block is what everybody rushes to. How can retailers also position themselves so that they can grab a certain portion of the market for themselves? I know I'm moving out of Black Friday, but how do you grab a certain portion of the market for yourself? I'm a small retailer running a tabletop, or my shop is just about a room size, and the market is very saturated. How do I position myself so that I am that person that everybody wants to come and buy from?
Okay, good. This is very an interesting question, and I'm just going to use one aspect of marketing that I think a small retailer you can use to really capitalize or attract a lot of existing and even maintain your loyal customers, and that is relationship marketing, relationship building. This is a tool that will not cost you so much. You can run adverts and that will cost you so much, and you know how it costs to run an advert. But then building relationship is about you and how you respond to consumers. Do you provide what they need? And how do you even receive them? Do you remember them in their difficult time? Do you remember them in their good times as a consumer? So how do you receive them? Do you receive them with a smile, or you receive them with a frown face, even if you don't have money to carry an advert? So your reception or your loan, your relationship with the customers, existing and a potential, will determine whether they will come back to you or not, or whether you can maintain them and even attract others. So as I said, build a relationship.
Okay. And
so many things that there are strategies in building relationships, as well as tactics that you can use to be able to, so that the customer or consumer will always have you in mind and heart, and not just, I mean, the market share that you are having.
Okay. My final question, since you mentioned build relationships, how do emotions and social influence impact the buying behavior of customers, also tying it into Black Friday sales?
Very, very important. Emotions, things that we have done to customers, and their positive will always remind them to come back to us, but maybe things that are negative. For instance, if you are the type who is profiteering, you know, when I say profiteering, you take undue advantage of customers for lack of maybe market knowledge, and then you charge them discriminately when the market, price is within an average. Remember, the customer will always remember the bad experience he or she has had, because he has done maybe averagely, this is what this product is sold in this market. After buying from you, he will do all his checks. Let me tie it to this Black Friday. So what it means is that the experiences customers have with you, no matter how your Black Friday campaigns will be, that negative feelings that they have about you, they will never come to you. Customers are saying that you treat them 99% or 99.9% positive. The single negative thing that you have done to them will always remind them. So for this Black Friday, I think the experiences that they already have about you will, attract them more when you advertise your Black Friday sales.
Prof, I know I said it was my final question. Let me ask this before.
Yes, you said that was your final answer.
We had conversations with some entrepreneurs who said that this election must be won in one round, because going into a runoff will have an impact on their businesses. People will be paying too much attention to the election, so much so that now Christmas sales may be affected. If the election is won in one round, at least by the 10th or 11th of December, people will come back to the market wanting to buy for Christmas and for the rest of the festive season. From where you stand as a marketing expert, what do you make of that? Should the election indeed be won in one round, and will the election have an impact on how consumers go into the market to buy?
Thank you very much. That's an interesting question, but let me just say that though you narrow it to maybe those who are in business, they want to run into their business and they want everything to settle quick so that they can go back, so that there will be attention to their product and services. But let me tell you, these elections, if it is won in one time round, it's best for so many stakeholders, not only businesses, everybody, economy as a whole. It is good for this economy. We're not going to incur additional money to be running a lot of things. So that is the wish of so many stakeholders. So I agree with them. When it is done within that, then everybody will put it behind and we'll all go back to our normal businesses. So not only those in the selling industry, but it's good for every sector of the economy, and even it's going to save Ghana a lot of money. So we all pray that it comes once and it is over, and not on a runoff issues.
We are grateful for your time this morning, Prof.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do have a wonderful day.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Professor Mahmood Abdullahi Mahmood is an associate of marketing at the Department of Marketing and Entrepreneurship at the University of Ghana Business School. We've had a conversation about Black Friday sales, the science behind it, the psychology, the emotions, and everything that adds up to Black Friday sales. And Prof has also expounded on other things that is of importance to you as a retailer, as a seller, what you can do to generate more people to come to you regardless of what you are selling. That is all for Business Fix today on ABC in the morning. We'll take a short breather. When we are back, we are entering into our main discussion for today.
$5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia #1 on the ballot.
Only Baumia can be trusted to protect and improve the free senior high school program. I want to take you on a trip down memory lane. In 2008, candidate Akufo-Addo promised that he was going to introduce education reforms, including the free senior high school program, if he was elected as president. From that election till about 2016, the NDC has consistently opposed the free senior high school.
The government has budgeted 2 billion cedis for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS?
That Ghana must not introduce free SHS on the whimsical promise of a desperate politician.
Sometimes they say it's just politics. But the big picture is that consistently they've been against it. In fact, in election 2012 and 2016, they sponsored several adverts trying to convince the people of Ghana say free SHS no. Any.
Into our main discussion for today, a segment that we will be unpacking some topics. And government yesterday commissioned over 80 educational projects. Over 80 educational projects. The government, through the Ministry of Education, inaugurated over 80 educational projects across all 16 regions of the country. The initiative seeks to enhance access to quality education by providing modern facilities tailored to meet the diverse needs of Ghanaian students. Speaking at the commissioning, the Minister for Education, Dr. Yawose Educhum, emphasized that these projects reflect the government's commitment to improving the quality of education and ensuring that every Ghanaian child has access to a conducive learning environment. The project spans a range of educational needs from basic schools to senior high schools and technical institutions. Yesterday, the minister had a lot to say. Let's listen to some excerpts of his speech.
Them a library and equip the library for them. So if you see there's one model junior high school, if they show you the pictures of students in their libraries and science lab at Bosomchi, for example, which was done with a 1 million per constituency funds. The government gave 1 million to constituencies, and in my constituency, we decided that we'll create a model junior high school. So you can see there that the students have library. We have science labs that were built by the Middle Belt Authority. For a junior high school, a serious transformation. So in these new junior high schools, what we are saying is not just the building, but the equipment that comes with the building, the new way of teaching and learning that comes with the building, new courses that are being offered, music and other things that are going to be offered
in a junior high school.
Junior high school. You see, the bill before Parliament, which we didn't get the free secondary education bill, was to ensure that junior high schools are upgraded to secondary status. So by the time they go to the senior high, they have all the requisite skills. They've done lab reports, they've done everything that you are supposed to do in secondary. So we're bringing back an opportunity for junior high schools to be upgraded and transformed. You do physics, chemistry, and biology there before you get to high school, and you continue from high school. So by the time you get to high school, you'll be introduced to most of the scientific concepts, and you get to do robotics in junior high school. So we have a new vision for transformation of education, and the junior high school is a critical component. I've always seen junior high school as the weakest link in the education system. If you didn't get a chance to go to a private junior high school and you went to a public junior high school, you are sitting in dilapidated buildings, there's no science equipment, and then you're going to meet your friends at Wesley Girls who are used to beakers and everything and all the scientific things, and they are lost. We can't create a nation of haves and have-nots, two Ghanas. Ghana for the rich, Ghana for the poor. The poor doesn't do well in science, so they don't get to do science at the senior high school. So even though they will go to Labone, but they will not give them science because they didn't do on the BEC. Why should we create a country where the poor locked up in inner city schools and villages don't get the opportunity to do engineering and do science because their grades on the BEC is so bad, and then when they get to the high school and they're even giving science, they don't do well because they've not been exposed to it. It's a new dawn. So if you look at what is going on there, you can see this is a new paradigm. It's a paradigm shift where junior high schools have been strengthened and upgraded, equipped with all the necessary tools like high schools, so that you can give Ghanaian children 6-year quality secondary education. And that is what the Akufo-Addo government has begun. And when we continue with this, it will be a different Ghana.
That's the Minister for Education. And in addressing the sustainability and maintenance of these facilities, over 80 facilities, he asserted that no country has a perfect maintenance culture and suggested the need for the creation of a maintenance budget. In this respect, he reviewed that the ministry has recruited 50 facility managers. Let's listen to that too.
Where we'll be able to get what they need to compete with the rest of our communities.
Minister,
thank you. Under one umbrella, so you can give them a library and equip the library for them. So if you see, there's one that we are there since 1957. After independence, we did some good things, but you also realize that some countries did some things differently and they've gotten different outcomes. I always cite South Korea and other countries that decided that in the 1970s they will improve STEM education, introduce STEM education in high schools, and they did. Now we are doing STEM in Ghana 50 years behind South Korea. But the good news is that we have begun. So when we say transformation, we are not tinkering at the edges, doing some small things in Ketenkitibia. No, we are talking about major things. So you don't go to St. Barnabas and just fix the roof. Change everything totally. And when you change, you also have to change the way the children are orientated in terms of how they think.
So that's again the Minister for Education, very passionate about the education about the country and speaking about why it is necessary to have some STEM schools. Let's take a look at the regional breakdown of these projects across the country, some over 80 projects across the country. And in the Ashanti region, a number of JHS and kindergarten buildings constructed amounts to 18 in number. Number of STEM schools, 3. For TVET, 2 schools. And the notable projects include the famous Busumtrim Model STEM JHS. I would say that since his assumption of the role of minister, one of the things that I remember, more things than not, is the Bosumtwi Model STEM JHS, and it is the notable project in the Ashanti region as part of these over 80 educational projects inaugurated. In the Ahafo region, 6 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 3 SHS buildings were constructed, and the notable one includes the MIM SHS, the MIM Senior High School. In the Bono region, 5 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 STEM school was also constructed, and the notable one is the South Ridge Experimental School. In Bono East, the construction of 1 JHS and kindergarten building constructed. In the Central region, 11 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 TVET building done, and the notable one includes Asenjakai Center for Excellence. Asenjakai Center for Excellence. So when you get to the Central region, look out for the Asenjakai Center for Excellence. We've added these notable projects so that whatever region you are in, you should look out for that notable project in there as part of the over 80 educational projects inaugurated by the government. In the Eastern region, some 11 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 TVET, and the notable one in the region is the Enyinem TVET, Enyinem's TVET. In the Greater Accra region, 2 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 STEM school was constructed, and the notable project in the Greater Accra region is the Accra STEM Academy, the Accra STEM Academy. So for those of us in the Greater Accra region, we can pass by and look for the Accra STEM Academy. Let's go to the Upper East, Upper West, and the Volta region. Let's see what happened in the two. We'll also bring you the Northing and all of that. We'll look at all of the projects in the various regions. In the Northern region, 3 SHSs were constructed. The notable one is the Tamale Business School. The Tamale Business School. In the Northeast region, 4 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 STEM school was constructed, and the notable project is the Pasenpe Model STEM SHS. In the Oti region, 1 JHS and kindergarten building was constructed. In the Savannah region, 1 SHS was constructed, and the notable project is the Damongo SHS. In the Western region, 5 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. In the Western North region, 2 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. In the STEM school is 1 STEM school in there. The notable project in the Western region is the Awaso Model STEM School, the Awaso Model STEM School. In the Oti region, 1 JHS and kindergarten building was constructed. In the Upper East region, 6 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. 1 SHS was also constructed, and the notable one includes the Notre Dame SHS. Upper West region, 2 SHS were constructed, and the notable one is the Northern Star SHS. And finally, in the Volta region, 3 JHS and kindergarten buildings were constructed. The SHS that was constructed was 1. Notable project is the Ziope E-Block Facility. And these are the projects, the over 80 projects that were constructed and were handed over. The President and the Minister of Education did that yesterday. Let's speak with Charles Ahetochega. He is the former director for the Ghana Education Service. He joins us for a conversation this morning like he does. And also Mr. Richard Kwashikove, he is the Greater Accra Regional Secretary for NAGRAS. They both join us for a conversation. Good morning, gentlemen. It's great to have you this morning on our show.
Good morning.
Okay. Let me start with you, former director of GES. Thank you. Like always, when we call on you, you speak with us. We are grateful for your time, sir.
Yeah, I'm around. Good morning to you too.
Well, what specific needs do you think these newly commissioned projects should prioritize to maximize their impact on students?
Well, good morning to your listeners. I actually think that in terms of priority, it is the whole education enterprise that has to be prioritized in terms of the teaching and learning. Because besides that, the schools have no very special needs that they have to, to play or to deliver, except ensuring that the children who go into those schools now have a new environment which should enhance their teaching and learning, and that the teachers will also be able to get the necessary things that they need to be able to deliver their responsibilities in terms of the full mandate of ensuring teaching and learning.
Sir, how do you receive this commissioning of these projects? How does it sit with you?
Well, again, this is a deja vu because it is it's something that happens with every regime. So when this regime does it, it's normal and in place. In fact, we would have expected more because we still do not know whether those facilities were constructed within the context of reducing the number of schools under trees. If they are completely new projects and do not directly help to address the schools under trees project, then I think that something else is required and should be really taken care of. So for me, it's normal. But again, I will repeat, if it doesn't serve the purpose of reducing the number of schools we have under tree, in terms of ensuring that those who are in the system are continuously being taken off, then we have a problem with just the way all of these things happen. But yet, it is a good thing because then it creates more spaces and maybe could lead to more movements from schools under trees into those new schools. And we'll see what time will tell.
Okay. How should the government integrate modern teaching technologies into these new facilities to prepare students for the future?
Well, again, integration of new modern methodologies is an ongoing thing in terms of the way teachers do their business. We expect all teachers to be very abreast with all the ways of teaching and be able to be in step in terms of what we call the new ways of delivering education. And in fact, a lot of things have actually changed. We expect that these new institutions would then create a motivation for all those people who are in them to be able to quickly adjust and ensure that the new environment will bring new behaviors and new things and good responses to how they conduct their school activities. Okay. So we'll be happy. Maybe now it would enhance the way some teachers will teach, maybe because of new white boards or black boards or chalk boards or marker boards. And I hope that it comes with some additional materials that should help the teacher to be able to deliver, and maybe some more textbooks that or materials that will allow the children to reinforce their learning experience within the classrooms.
Okay. Let me come to you, Richard, Greater Accra Regional Secretary for NAGRAT. What impact do you foresee these projects having on educational outcomes, particularly in underserved areas?
Well, thank you, and good morning to you and your viewers. And I would like to also thank you to my former Director General, Mr. Ayatollah, for it's a long time I've seen him in recent times. Yeah, so let's look at education. When we look at the entire education architecture, there are three main components of the education architecture. We have the infrastructure that comes with the classroom blocks and all the resources that the children will need to learn. Then we also need the second aspect component is the curriculum that is being implemented, how relevant and appealing it is to the learner, and then the economy. In terms of by drawing your curriculum, you have to look at, let's say we have a lot of natural resources. How does our curriculum prepare learners to take advantage of them? So we stop importing technology from outside to mine our resources and take good care of the environment. That is what one other component we want to look at your curriculum. Then the third component is the facilitators. In that case, the teachers. How well they are motivated and prepared to deliver the content in this environment. So these are the three components of education. So if one is missing, the other two suffer. And so if you look at Article 25, the preamble of Article 25 of our 1992 Constitution, it said clearly that all persons shall have access to equal education opportunities and facilities, irrespective of their geographical location. So for me, when we look at building school infrastructure and all that things that comes with it, it's a basic responsibility of the government. And that is the reason why they take our taxes and then to develop the state. I don't remember the last time a government came to power and then came with their own money and they're using it. They come to take taxes from us, borrow, and then they do the project. So it means that whatever they are putting out for us has to be value for money. Okay. And so the study we did in 2021, Education International Africa Education Watch, as my senior man earlier said, we have over 5,000 schools operating under trees. That's as of 2021. We also have over 4,000 schools, the primary schools that do not have junior high schools. And then if you look at that, it contributed to the over 1.2 million Ghanaian children who are out of school. And so for me, if as of now, and the challenge we've had over the years, I think we should have been doing more than what the government is doing in terms of building the infrastructure if we have not had the GET fund. Because the primary purpose of the GET fund is to support education infrastructure. But unfortunately, through the enactment of the capping and realignment fund in 2017, the fund has suffered major decision when it comes to capital expenditure. And for that matter, we've not been able to meet our infrastructure needs. And as a result, it has affected the quality education delivery greatly. So for me, just like my senior director earlier said, we could be doing more than this. But then we also want to use this opportunity to thank the minister and his team for at least realizing it, because we've advocated for classroom infrastructure, looking at the overcrowding in our classrooms and then the quality of education. If you look at any educational institution, what appeals to the site, that even breaks the conscience of anybody to want to send a child to that school is the appearance of the school. And so we have always advocated that. The only reason why somebody would prefer a private education or a Cambridge education is the infrastructure they have, not the teachers they have inside there or but sometimes it is the infrastructure. Okay. That attracts them there. Because with the presence of the infrastructure, the learner gets there and psychologically prepared to learn and explore. And that's where critical thinking comes to play. But then if you look at our public basic schools especially, the size of the school alone discourages the learner from going there. Some of them will cry just because it is free. That is why a lot of parents want to bring their children there, even though they have professional teachers. So with that psychic of the child feeling that I'm going to a school that is not attractive, also impacts negatively on their ability to want to learn or explore the environment. But there's nothing for them to explore. So for now, let me say, I would say this is the beginning of government within the 1990 Republic trying to put that structure, but it's not done as so much good. Especially when you look at the education in the fourth industrial revolution, that is talking about technology, engineering, and the rest. So for me, it's a good step. Now that we are hyping it, I'm sure that several governments will also continue that. But then what is needed now is that all persons shall have access to equal educational opportunities. It should not be in a piecemeal. To take it as a holistic approach where we want to take, because why should some children be suffering so and the learning at that in dilapidated structure, while at a few people are given space. So you take it as a priority.
It's
not that the state doesn't have money.
That's what I'm asking that. That's why I asked how you foresee the impact of these 80 commissioned projects. Some 80 projects have been commissioned. So do you see an impact in the education sector, especially with underserved areas? Because these projects were commissioned all across the country. It started with all across the country, 80. Maybe moving forward, let's see what the government will do. But when you, as a NAGRAT secretary, as someone who is a stakeholder in the education sector, or in the education economy, when you look at these projects, these 80 projects, what do you foresee beyond the 80?
Yeah, so definitely the learners who will be admitted into these 80 schools have advantage over their colleagues, and they are going to be put in a proper 21st century education environment, because if they are given the equipment needed for that, then the places they are going to listen. But then that's why I keep, so for that, it's a good step. And then I think for our colleagues who are going to teach in these schools, the stress has been taken off their shoulders. And for me, they will always thank God for being for teaching in a school that has been upgraded to 21st century status. And that is what we wish every other child in Ghana, irrespective of where they are born, whether in urban, peri-urban, or rural community, as you said, should also have access to it. It should not be in a piecemeal. It should be a holistic approach. That is what our stand.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Director. Yes. So these 80 projects have been, they have been commissioned. Teachers will be going there to teach students. Students will also be going there to seek some education. Obviously, in our conversation, we realized that there are still some gaps in our education sector beyond the commissioning of these projects. What more can be done to fill these gaps that remain, so that other children, other students, other learners can experience what their friends will be experiencing in these very beautiful edifices?
The beauty of the edifices. I would not even emphasize on the beauty of the edifices. I would emphasize on the fact that the edifices should be available and friendly to all learners. So, well, beauty may matter, but again, for us, essentially, children must learn in an environment that is friendly and that they can enjoy the teaching and learning experience in schools. But we know that this is not the case in over 5,000 maybe plus schools. We don't know whether this construction is an attempt to reduce those numbers, because they are still with us. What we're saying is that we want those ones to be also addressed. You know, even as much as we are looking at expanding, we want those ones to be addressed for the people who are already in it. Else we seem to be promoting a kind of education system that is that favors certain areas, or favors the plans and interests of the government. But we want general and equal education opportunities for everybody, so that all the children will be able to get the same kind of environment in which their learning takes place. So for me, the gaps that exist now should be filled. You know, I know that it's come too late, but it's a bold attempt. But I think that if we had started 8 years ago, we probably could have done about half of the schools, and therefore created more opportunities for more children to be able to change the pattern of their education. For me, that is where I think that the attention should now be turning for the developments in education.
Okay, let's look at maintenance. The minister said some stuff about maintaining the place. He looked at budgeting, and he says that there have been some managers that have been contracted for these projects that have been commissioned. Let's look at the maintenance of our schools in Ghana, especially our public schools. You go to the bathrooms and it's not the best. The toilet facilities and all. We've built new projects, new buildings for students to go and learn, to facilitate their learning. How best can we do well to maintain the building, to maintain everything within it, so that in 5 years to come we are not abandoning certain portions of the building because they are just not livable?
Well, thank you very much that you brought maintenance. That's a very big subject and requires a very detailed discussion, but I won't do that because we don't have enough time, because maintenance touches on resources. And in the kind of maintenance that the minister discussed, if you look at our system, it talks about job creation, and then it talks about a certain consistency in the way you keep the structure, which requires certain inputs from government, which usually are not available. So I'm happy that he didn't focus on maybe being very direct in terms of blaming people for the lack of maintenance, because it will be like pointing one finger at somebody and four turning back to you. No, because the teachers are managers who depend on government to be able to raise resources to improve the structure. Many a time there are no resources to be able to do that maintenance. And for me, that is a responsibility of government that it is reneging. And we turn around having to look onto parents to continue to add money or take money from their own resources and begin to maintain the schools that government has a responsibility to maintain. That is a double jeopardy for parents. So we want government to be accountable in terms of its responsibility of providing the resources for the maintenance of the structures that it has produced, so that the people who are managers can now be also held accountable for not doing the work, and we know how to probably deal with them. But currently, I'm happy he talks about an alternative. The first alternative would have been to now open the gate for educational institutions to recruit more people by way of supporting the maintenance. Now he says, we can get maybe a janitorial organization to be doing all of those things for the school. Fine, that is outsourcing that particular job. And I know it's a little bit of a job for the boys and other things. But if he believes that that is the best option, then yes, he should use it. And then we can hold the government responsible for the maintenance of all of those areas. And that whole process would not be the responsibility of heads of schools, to begin to start worrying about, a roof is leaking. Why is the roof leaking? And why can't we repair it? So for me, maintenance is a very serious business. We are not doing a lot of it. And we expect that if the minister mentions that maintenance is important, then he should begin to put his money where his mouth is and provide the resources for the schools to be able to maintain the system. Because this is no time for blame game. This is the time for fulfilling your responsibilities and ensuring that you can use that to ensure that other people along the value chain will fulfill theirs as well.
Okay. Richard, what gaps Yes, Richard. What gaps still remain in the educational sector in terms of development?
Yeah, so just as I said earlier on, I don't think in our attempt to reform, when you look at the reforms, the curriculum reform, I don't think from what I teach and then looking forward in terms of attaining our goal 4, SDG goal 4, we've been able to hit the target. why am I saying so? If you look at our entire educational architecture in terms of the curriculum that is in, I think the focus has been so much on English. And so let me say, you look at the curriculum at the basic level, it's more or less like foundational English. You go to senior high school, you do intermediate English, and then university, you do advanced English. And then when you finish school, you come back to the bar. In the 21st century, the fourth industrial revolution, education is not about who speaks good English, but it's about who can put one-on-one together. So we need to integrate our curriculum in the area of technology, engineering, and then so we don't just go and teach mathematics in vacuum, but you teach mathematics where the children know that the numbers, the algebra, and so it is how it operates, and then the school environment lends itself to with the facilities and other things that the children can use to achieve this. So that is how we can stop galamsey, because now the children will know how to do responsible mining. They will not just go do anything that they want to do. When we discover uranium, the children know what technology. We need to look at basic fabrication of technology. But if you look at education, even at the university level, for me, if you ask me, we feel the nation, especially in the Fourth Republic, because that's where we have the opportunity to change a lot of things. But poor budgetary allocation in terms of education financing has affected education greatly. And we look at the cheaper option. What's the cheaper option? Grammar. So everything is about you and poor. Because no matter how, you cannot do critical thinking with test papers. Asking children difficult question examination doesn't mean they are doing critical thinking. Collaboration and communication, all those things are not done but just because you put the children in a group and then they are sitting around the table. They're supposed to be a project-based, where they're given a specific project that they are working on the field. So it should be 70% field work and 30% theory in the classroom. And that is the kind of education that, if you look at our Asian counterparts, that is how their system is, and that's how they're able to take advantage of the little resources they have. And we run to them to borrow technology, to borrow money, everything. But so we need to begin to move away from grammar education in all its form, whatever it is, to a skilled education that looks critically at how we can take advantage of our natural resources. I don't think our education financial regime has been able to support that. Research is needed. How are the universities supported to do in-depth research, to be able to come out with a curriculum and then projects are different. So it takes time for somebody to even do an invention. It takes time because you need to do a lot of trials and all those, but it involves a lot of money, which I don't think government is committed in the Fourth Republic so much in doing. And that is why children go to school, they come out of university, and then they are looking for a job because there's no job for them. They've not learned anything that the space that the job market has we can take advantage of. I don't see why we are also not being taking advantage of the space created by technology in terms of programming and coding and all that. We're supposed to start right from KG, because that's where character, mindset, and other things are begin character formation, everything. So we want to produce the next industrial thinkers. Then they need to start from KG. When they begin to, we begin to expose them to the food of learning, and then they are exposed to those things, and they're given the opportunity to explore. Then that curiosity to want to do something better comes in. So, but this is like you get to secondary school before you're introduced to certain things. Even with that, you see about 70% of it is grammar. Because at the end of the day, you are coming to write a test paper, and that's how you are going to measure it. I don't think that is the best way. You need to be looking at our education. So we've not done enough. And not because the people, those in charge of developing the curriculum don't know, but it's because they know even when they develop the best one that the country needs, they will not get the resources to support it. So they will have to do something that the money they have at hand can support. And that is very bad. And that is why we are struggling as of today. How long can government continue to employ people when they are supposed to be, instead of look at blue taxonomy, talk about creativity?
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah.
The minister said that no country has set a maintenance culture. However, they have set a budget to look at maintenance. Do you agree with the minister when he says that no country has a set maintenance culture?
For the issue of no other country, that one it's all for if you need to do further checks. But then I also want to commend him for the first time. They are putting out structures, and they're also looking at how the structures can be maintained in terms of even hiring people to do that, so that it becomes their responsibility. When it comes to maintenance, the problem has been overuse of the facilities, and then lack of financial or budgetary allocation to replace broken down equipment. That is where it begins from. And then if you look at the wash facilities, when the septic tank is full, how is it deployed and how immediately is it taken off? When the sink is broken or the WC is broken, how often? So that is where the problem is. It's left to the schools to do, and then the schools are living on capitation ground, which is not even coming. And that is the issue. So for this time that they are employing people to be in charge of that, my only hope is that there's also going to be a budget line and then procurement of this equipment that will need to be replacing the broken one. You come to the classroom resources. If a test tube is broken, a liter of acid and whatever, all those things are used. How frequently are they going to be replaced? And if that is part of the entire component, then I think that is the way to go, because when we put up a structure, the first thing is to maintain that one, or to add more, and that is how we can save costs in terms of coming back to do the same thing every year and then spend $2 millions of cedis, and other people are languishing somewhere without even having a common basic infrastructure to learn under. So for me, that's a good step, and I think it's a step in the right direction. And that's how all other projects going forward there should be employees in charge of maintenance, and so they will be able to monitor the facilities and then even advise on the use. The children how the facilities to be used, and then that way, I think that's the way to go, and I applaud you for that one.
Let me come back to you, Director. We understand you would be leaving us soon, so let me get your final thoughts on these commissioning and everything about the educational sector.
That we are making sort of baby steps. We should have planned. We have done a very, very, very good planning in terms of what we want to do with education, but as much as possible, we don't see it. We compromised our funding source for other things instead of, respecting the commitment of all the people of the country and putting money into the GET fund and all of those things. And I think that the biggest, the biggest challenge to the whole education system was the capping of the GET fund. And that has actually denied the education system of the opportunities that it should have had in terms of increasing the scope of, improvement in facilities for the children. So for me, I'm happy that we've been able to put up some buildings. I'm happy that the minister is talking about maintenance culture, which is a suggestion that he now wants to commit to ensuring that, all the schools will be able to get dedicated resources for maintenance, or if his idea is right, virtually farm it out to other organizations who would ensure that the schools really have good maintenance in terms of the things that are required for them to study. So that's my take, and I hope that it turns out right for us going forward.
We're grateful for your time this morning. Thank you. Charles Aheto Chega is a former Director General for the Ghana Education Service. He's had his thoughts on the commission of some 80 educational projects by the government and the Ministry of Education. He said a lot about it, and we will bring you more on the conversation we've had.